next we are going to be chopping some bananas.
And hey, life is better with 2 tarts.
And cut them into 3 to 4 mil thick slices. All I want to do is grab a spoon and start tucking in. My name's Taryn and I'm a professional baker from South Africa. I've baked some crazy, weird and wonderful cakes in my time, and now I hope to pass those skills on to you as I bake, make and create with the Supermoms Club.
This is one of my favorite little spots. To sit quietly in the mornings and just watch all the nature that's around. It's so important to take time out sometimes before your crazy busy day starts. Life is hectic, and that's why today we are going to be making a dessert that is so easy to make. It really requires no thought. It's no bake. Whack the ingredients together, pop it into the fridge, and hey presto, your dessert is done. Now last week I promised you banana caramel tart, and yes, we are making banana caramel tart today. But I've decided to throw an extra variation into the mix, because I can, and I have 2 others up my sleeve as well, so we'll definitely get into them in a later episode. But for all my South African viewers, it is almost Heritage Day, and of course that means Braai Day as well. So if you want 2 easy desserts that you can put together, these are them. And hey, life is better with 2 tarts. I bet it is. YouTube's gonna eat that up. Take 2. Life is better with more dessert. So on that note, let's get into the ingredients.
Before we get into the ingredients, I actually need to introduce you to the second tart we'll be making, and that is a salted caramel apple cream tart. Yum! These tarts both use the exact same base ingredients, which is really great. You can kind of memorize them and makes it a lot easier. Also, they are going to use a 23 centimeter by 23 centimeter glass or ceramic dish. So for each of these now, for the base, you will need the following: a tin of caramel, 250 ml of whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and a pack of tennis biscuits. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do is start with the banana caramel, since I did promise it to you first last week. And then what I will do is pop a timestamp in the description for the other tart. You can jump straight ahead to that if you would like to. And what we are going to start with is to empty the caramel into a dish that you could use an electric mixer in. So you can empty that out. And then you can add 3 tablespoons of fresh cream to your caramel and give it a good beat until it's combined. So why do we do that? Why do we go to that extra trouble? Well, I don't know if you've ever had banana caramel tart and that caramel has kind of stuck to your palate. It's really not that nice. And this is a great way of making your caramel really nice and smooth, but it just kind of melts in your mouth when you're eating that banana caramel tart. Makes all the difference. So now what we're going to do is add 2 tablespoons of sugar into your cream, and then beat the cream until it becomes nice and stiff. Right, next we are going to be chopping some bananas. So you'll notice I have 5 little bananas here. These are quite small bananas. My recipe actually calls for 3 to 4 big bananas. The bananas that were in the shops that were the bigger bananas really weren't looking that great. And that's actually quite important, to select a banana that looks nice. Alright, all my little bananas are sliced. So I sliced them to around 3 to 4 mils thick. And now we can begin layering our tart. So we are going to start with the cream and work your way going all the way around the dish. Then you can take the tennis biscuits and lay them on top of the cream, lining the base of the dish. Alright, so next we are going to be popping this caramel on top of the tennis biscuits. So you can just place quite a nice layer again, going all the way around. So you kind of want to use about half a tin of caramel at this point. And now you can add your bananas on top of the caramel, making sure that you go all the way around the dish and that they are tightly packed. We are halfway there. So now what you are going to do is basically repeat the process, starting with layering the cream, of which you'll only use half, as the other half will be used for the top of the tart, and then you can continue with the biscuits, the rest of the caramel and the bananas. Before we put our last layer of cream on, I have just placed the remainder of the tennis biscuits into a freezer bag, and then using a rolling pin you can give them a good crush. Right, and now we can add the cream, going all the way around the top, and then sprinkle it with the biscuit crumbs to finish it off. Our banana caramel tart is done. And now the worst part of making this tart is that it needs to go into the fridge overnight. It really does allow the cream to soak into the tennis biscuits, that when you eat it, it melts in your mouth. But it's really tough because all I want to do is grab a spoon and start tucking in. But I guess we do have that other tart to make, so let me pop this in the fridge and then we can get into making that. We are moving on to our second tart, and that is the salted caramel apple cream tart. And now what we are going to do is start this time around with peeling the apples, because the apples are going to be cooked on the stove, and while they're cooking we'll prep the rest of our ingredients. I use pink lady apples when I'm baking. I find that they are a better apple for baking actually, because they don't hold as much water, and when you are cooking them they do tend to keep their shape. So what you can do now is just slice the apple going down the side and again on the opposite end, and then you can cut the two remaining ends off as well. And then we're going to take those pieces and cut them into 3 to 4 mil thick slices. So now we are going to add our apple slices into a pot on the stove, and then place it on a medium to high heat and add 125 mils of water and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Give it a stir so that the sugar and water can mix nicely together and coat the apples. So now we literally have 5 minutes while that is boiling away on the stove to get the rest of the ingredients prepped. So just as before, we are going to add 3 tablespoons of cream into our caramel. And then you can add a half a teaspoon of salt into the caramel as well. And then beat it until the cream and the salt have combined and it's nice and smooth. Alright, so next we are going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar into our cream, and then beat it until it's lovely and thick. Alright, so we are on a bit of a time crunch. The apples are simmering away on the stove. It has been 5 minutes, and now I'm going to coat the top of them with a sprinkle of cinnamon and then give it a stir and leave it to boil again until all the water has evaporated. Alright, so now we are going to begin again exactly as we did before, and we are going to start with lining the bottom of your dish with some cream. And now we can add our first little layer of tennis biscuits. And then we can add the caramel, so half the amount of caramel. Alright, so I think my apples are now ready to come off the stove. They are looking and smelling absolutely amazing. So I'm going to leave them to cool just for a little bit before I start handling them. Alright, so sufficiently cooled. So now I can handle them and start placing them going all the way around that layer of caramel. And now we are going to continue again, repeating our layers of cream, tennis biscuits, caramel and apple. Remembering to reserve half of the cream for the top of the tart. It smells so delicious. So now lastly we are going to top it off with some cream and then again crush some tennis biscuits so that they can be sprinkled over the top. My second little tart is done, and now it is time to put it into the fridge and leave it to soak overnight so that all the cream can soak into the tennis biscuits. It's going to be a really long wait because all of these lovely aromas of the cinnamon and apples and caramel are kind of hitting my nose, and it's really hard to have to put this in the fridge right now. But it is best, and so that is what I'm going to do. But I cannot wait until tomorrow morning. In next week's episode, my salted caramel sauce with a surprise recipe. And this one, the kids will really love. If you liked this episode, hit the like button and remember to subscribe to see more videos.